Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 250 of your favourite Formula 1 show. Yes, Jamie and I return, Knowing Wheel is back. Of course, now we're into the depths of the summer break, we get to celebrate our quarter century. And Jamie, we're going to celebrate our quarter century with something, hopefully, that you guys are going to help us out with. Before we forget, we want to do a Q&A in the next couple of weeks, of course, because the podcast has now hit 1,000 subscribers. Obviously, if you've got any questions about Formula 1 that you want us to answer, or any controversial opinions about Formula 1 you want us to answer, or kind of what Jamie's romantic life is looking like,
don't
anything.
ask about that. That would be a very short answer.
But I feel like we're going to say, obviously, up to a certain point, we're going to be a fairly open book with it. So, yeah, anything you kind of want to know about the podcast or Formula 1 or us, or make sure you leave them down in the comments below, because hopefully we're going to do this in the next couple of weeks, because it gives us an extra podcast we can do during F1's fairly quiet summer break, it feels like this year, doesn't it, Jamie?
And also, the podcast has been going 5 years or 4.5 years, so and we've not done one yet.
4.5 years.
And
no, we haven't.
1,000 people have decided we're worth watching, so why not tell a bit more about ourselves?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing screams self-indulgent like
exactly.
asking questions so we can talk about ourselves for the better part of an hour. But yeah, so make sure, obviously, if you've got any questions, leave them down in the comments below. We wanted to get that out there nice and early in the show, because otherwise we knew we'd forget come the end of the podcast. But today, then, we're going to be going through, we're going to be looking at our 7-ish rookies of the 2025 campaign, despite the fact 3 of them had already made starts, or 4 of them actually had already made starts prior to 2025. We're going to be going through, we're going to be talking about them all individually, and then we're going to be ranking them at the end of the episode. And of course, to help with the clickbait, we've also got a tier list to rank them in, but it's going to be more of a ranking 1 through 7, isn't it? I think the tier list just helps A, get people clicking on the video, and B, we can create bigger gaps, can't we, rather than just doing 1 through 7, can't we, Jamie?
Exactly.
Where do we want to start then? Do we want to start with Jack Doohan, of course, our rookie that is often forgotten in 2025?
Yeah.
He's been included in our social polls, but yeah, hasn't obviously made a Formula 1 start now since Miami.
Yeah, that was a very brief cameo in Miami before Liam Lawson took him out in turn 1, but we'll get onto him later. Yeah, Jack Doohan was... we were talking pre-show. Helmut Marko did this tier list before the season started, where he called Antonelli and Bearman A tier and Hadjar A tier, I think, and he called Doohan C tier and said he won't see out the season. So we are today being Helmut Marko, but with a bit more information.
It's always scary, yeah. bit more
But to be fair to
information and hopefully slightly less racism.
Yes, and a bit more mental capacity. Probably at this point. Jack Doohan is gone, obviously, so Helmut Marko was actually right for a change. And he really didn't do much, did he? It was a weird one, because if he didn't have Franco Colapinto breathing down his neck, he probably would have seen out the season. But Flavio Briatore, back in January, had already decided that for any reason he could find, Colapinto was taking that seat.
Yeah, it's always been a bit, we like we said, but Doohan was never going to get a fair shot, was he? We knew that going in. We knew unless he did something miraculous that it wasn't going to happen. And ultimately, I mean, it's going to be, obviously, when we get talking about Colapinto as well in just a moment, you could make the argument that neither of them have really done a better job than the other. In fact, if you actually look at the qualifying average deficit to Gasly, Doohan was actually doing better at the start of the year. Now, I know, of course, he was helped a little bit with the fact that he had pre-season testing and everything else, but yeah, he was, on average, I believe, the gap is about 0.16 seconds. Colapinto is on average quarter of a second off Pierre Gasly throughout all their sessions together. So Doohan, in many regards, I mean, they've each had a best result of 13th. Colapinto's had 2 of them. Doohan only had the 1, but of course Colapinto's had more races as well.
Doohan's one also was by virtue of 3 disqualifications at China.
It was also helped by 3 DSQs. But I mean, yeah, it's one of those weird ones, isn't it? Because like obviously we kind of always look at recency bias, don't we, in Formula One? And I think it's very, very easy now to kind of say, oh, Doohan wasn't that bad. And I don't think he was that bad. But I also, you're kind of there going, you don't think had he started somewhere else that he'd be suddenly looking at an illustrious F1 career either, would you?
No, exactly.
It always seemed like a weird move coming in.
It felt like a panic move, because obviously after Monaco last year, 2024, they basically decided they weren't having Ocon for the following season. But then because Alpine were in such a terrible state last year, absolutely nobody wanted to go to them. No. So they were waiting for Sainz. He didn't come. They wanted Bottas for a bit. He didn't fancy it. In the end, they just had to stick Doohan in there. And it wasn't ideal. And then only after they stuck Doohan in, I think they announced that as Sparta, didn't they? They announced Doohan for 25.
About then, yeah.
And then obviously Colapinto comes into Williams like 2 races later and starts doing really well. They're like, oh, let's snap him up.
Yeah. I mean, even saying Colapinto was doing really well, he had a couple of flashes of brilliance as well, didn't he? But this season's kind of been more of... I think a lot of people remember the points that Colapinto was able to score. I think it was Baku and... was it Vegas? Baku and Monza, wasn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
And people kind of remember those results rather than the multiple crashes in Brazil, the crash in Vegas, and just kind of some of the more lackluster results. This was something else I was thinking about, Jamie. And I mean, you're more of a Pierre Gasly fan than I am. I feel like we've seen next to nothing of Pierre's face this year. Like, I feel like I've not seen him anywhere. Not even just in the races, but I mean just generally in Formula One. Like, he's been quietly pocketed his teammate, but I think where Alpine have been usually the worst team.
Yeah,
we just haven't seen Pierre Gasly, and he's fairly well rated up and down the grid.
And he's still all right. Like the Silverstone would have been a really headline result had it not been for Hulkenberg on the podium in 6th place in the Alpine. Yeah. So he is doing well. It's obviously helped by the fact he's going up against children. But yeah, he's doing a fine job. The thing is, Gasly is rated, but he's not like... It's not like Sainz in the midfield where you think he's a, multiple race winner. He's a bit of a Jensen Button if you got in the right car at the right time. I don't think Gasly is quite as highly rated as someone like Sainz.
No,
but
he's
one of those things, a solid driver.
He's one of those things, isn't it, where you're kind of a bit worried that Gasly might be going down the Romain Grosjean route. Yeah, you get a few podiums here and there. I mean, obviously, I know Gasly's had a win that Grosjean never got. But you're kind of there going, is he just quietly going to slip out at some point with a career that's kind of remembered for one of those moments? I mean, you really highly rated him coming in, didn't you?
I did. Well, he was GP2 champion back in the day. He was... And, he's been in F1. He's had a very good career already, to be honest. He must be in his 10th
This is what I mean. You're kind of there going, could we end up seeing Gasly off the grid in a couple of years without kind of realising?
Well, he's 29, so... But the whole grid is quite old. I think Sainz is the... Sorry, the whole grid is quite young. So 29 makes him like the 5th oldest driver, I think, or something like that. I think he'll be around for another 5 years at least, but he's one of those where, if the new rookies come in and start doing really well, a bit like in Nico Hulkenberg, Kevin Magnussen type, where they're good, but if a team decides they don't want him, is anyone else going to pick them up? I'm talking about in 2019, 2021, when Magnussen went. So, but then both those drivers came back, so you don't know.
No, it is a very, very weird one, isn't it? I mean, it's also not the topic of conversation for today, so I apologise
we've gone on a tangent
for sidetracking us. I mean, yeah, like we said, for Doohan, though, there were some flashes that he was getting better, of course. Australia started out pretty badly. But, of course, Sainz made a similar mistake lap 1. Antonelli almost made a similar mistake. Alonso obviously binned it as well. So it was kind of forgivable up to a certain point. But again, just gave Flavio Briatore a bit more ammunition. Like you said, Shanghai wasn't fantastic. I feel like he was involved in an incident that wasn't his fault, though, in Shanghai, if I'm remembering correctly. I feel like someone did something stupid to him, which cost him. Obviously, Japan, the high-profile moment, of course, where obviously he tried to take turn 1 with DRS open, which was not ideal, which alarmingly is probably what he's going to be remembered for. Bahrain, again, he was actually looking quite good. But then just the safety car timing completely screwed him.
But the Alpine was also quite quick, that race.
The Alpine was very good that weekend. Yeah, and then obviously Jeddah as well. I think Alpine just struggled there as well because, again, it's such a power-sensitive circuit that they were always going to be on the back foot. And then, of course, like you said, Miami, nothing he could really do. He just got Liam Lawson at turn 1 after out-qualifying Gasly.
Yeah, So what was it? 5-1 in quali, and then 6-0 in the races. Or I guess he technically beat Gasly when he retired and got disqualified. But 4-0 in races they both finished.
Yeah. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because
but, you get the picture.
Yeah, like we said, Doohan is kind of one of those ones where you think probably I would say he's probably on like a par or like a Zhou Guanyu or something like that. Deserves a couple of years. I'd still always argue that Zhou probably got 1 year too many in the end, to be completely honest.
Probably.
But you're kind of there going. I think ultimately the other big question as well, of course, again, and it goes back to the way Alpine managed this all, is he didn't win Formula 2. Why did he take a year out? Like, surely they would have been better off keeping him in Formula 2 another year if you want him in Formula 1. And
what
kind
did
of
he even
just,
do in 2024?
He was just a reserve driver, test and reserve. Yeah. So it's kind of that thing of you're better off if you're an Alpine. You want to be putting him in a Formula 1 gig at some point.
I guess
spend the couple of million quid. Yeah, but spend the extra couple of million quid just to try and keep him ready and fresh. And then at least then if someone else is doing better in Formula 2, you bring them in instead.
Yeah.
It's just, again, Alpine's bizarre way of managing drivers.
Yeah. But I personally think C or D for both the first two drivers.
I feel like they need to go in C. Because, again, I feel like if we're looking at this tier list, we haven't got like an F or anything like that.
No, true.
Mazepin shows how bad a rookie can be still. I think he will be the benchmark for a long time. Exactly. So we'll put Jack Doohan down in C tier then, and obviously we've already spoken a bit about Franco Colapinto, haven't we? Which I believe I've only now just realised isn't on this tier list. So
fantastic!
We're going to say Carlos Sainz is Franco Colapinto.
They look a bit alike
for the sake of conversation. Again, he's kind of just been very, very similar to Doohan, hasn't he? But at least had some Flavio Briatore hype behind him coming in.
Yeah, which very quickly became Flavio Briatore hate, wasn't it? By about 3 races in. So, yeah, what was his objectives were? Don't crash, score points.
Don't crash, score points.
I can't remember what the third one was.
Be close to Gasly, I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, and he's not really achieved any of those yet. No. So he's a perennial Q1 exiter at the moment.
Usually, yeah. I mean, when we take a look through, of course, Imola, binned it Q1. Pretty quiet race after that. Monaco, where did Gasly come? Gasly retired from Monaco, didn't he?
But he was,
Colapinto,
I think he was like 11th or something.
Yeah, he was doing better than Franco up to that point. Monaco, again, just a bit of a quiet weekend. He lost kind of a lot of the confidence he had in the car. Spain stalled in the pit lane. We still don't really quite know how he did that or whether it was his fault or the team's. Canada, he was actually looking pretty good. Out-qualified Gasly. Yeah, did outrace him as well, so that was kind of a bit of a flash of brilliance. Austria, again, well, apart from almost wiping out Oscar Piastri as well, who was obviously trying to battle for the win, again, was a pretty anomalous result. Silverstone, binned it in qualifying, didn't even start the race, whether that was his fault or the team again, we don't really know. Belgium P19, Hungary P18, which Hungary, admittedly, Gasly came 19th because the Alpine was terrible, but it's not been great, has it?
No.
With the exception of Canada, it's been pretty woeful.
And in that time, Gasly scored 13 points.
Yes.
To Colapinto's none. And yeah, like we were saying, Gasly is a good benchmark, but he's not like a world beater.
He's not impossible to beat. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So the fact that neither of his teammates has really got that close to scoring points yet shows they're kind of both as anonymous as each other. I'd be surprised if Colapinto's still driving an F1 in 2026, if I'm honest. I don't think he's been great. I think the Williams cameo was the best he'll get, to be honest. And even then, he didn't beat Albon in either of his point scores, did he? So
no. Let's be fair. Exactly what's happened here has been a repeat of Nick de Vries.
Yeah, apart from the de Vries did it against Latifi.
Well, yeah, but he's basically just been a carbon copy, hasn't it? You get a couple of good races at Williams, someone else picks you up, you do terribly.
Yeah.
Clearly, Williams is just a nurturing environment.
Well, Williams at Monza and Baku, you just put the accelerator down, really, don't you? So, yeah. It's not great. Yeah. I don't think Colapinto is going to see out... Well, he will see out the season. I don't think he'll be driving that in 26.
I think had Bottas wanted to make the move, he wouldn't be. But because Bottas doesn't want to, I think they've just got to keep him there and hope for something. But I mean, it then does raise the question, of course, of who then do you bring into Alpine? You got Mercedes power next year, So I think you're probably looking at someone that wants to take a bit of a punt. Could that be a Formula 1 driver? Are you going to have to get another rookie in for next year? Is it going to be a Paul Aaron? Is it going to potentially be like an Alex Dunn? Or I want it to be Leo Fornaroli. That's what I want.
Good. I think Dunn would be good as well. Yeah, the top of F2 is actually a little bit decent under the radar this year. So I mean, Paul Aaron would be fine, but I don't think he's going to beat Gasly. Dunn or Fornaroli could. I think there's a genuine argument there. I don't think they'd beat him straight away, but it might be a bit of a Bortoleto-Hulkenberg deal where it's close.
Yeah. I think the only way Dunn would get in is, of course, if McLaren and Mercedes, with their weird partnership with each other, of now Alpine would have Mercedes power. Whether that's you save a couple of million quid on these engines a year if you put him in, but obviously we can poach him at any moment.
Yeah.
Fornaroli, like I said, I would love to see, partly because I'm a Fornaroli fan, but partly because I'm getting very worried that, again, we're kind of going on a bit of a tangent here, but Fornaroli is fantastic of being great, but not fantastic of being like an absolute star. He's just very consistent, and it's easy to train a quick driver to be consistent than a consistent driver to be quick, which is where I feel Fornaroli might get a bit shot in the foot.
Yeah, we'll see. If not, any of the current grid, I mean, no one will really move, I don't think. Everyone's kind of nailed their colours to the mast for 2026, haven't they?
The only other one, which we've mentioned before, is Isack Hadjar.
Or Liam Lawson, one of those, if they get binned off.
I can't see Lawson going
or
to Alpine,
Tsunoda.
though.
Why not?
Or a Tsunoda, yeah, go
Bring
back
Tsunoda
to Gasly.
back.
Exactly, great partnership. Absolutely fantastic partnership. Are we saying Colapinto's better or worse than Doohan, Jamie?
I think the exact same.
6 of one, half a dozen the other, isn't it?
If we're doing an official ranking, I think I would put Colapinto a smudge higher. But for the sake of tier list, they're both C. But I don't know about you.
So Franco Colapinto, again, is Carlos Sainz today, ladies and gentlemen. Just so, if you're watching this on YouTube, you know what's going on.
People who skip straight to the end are going to get confused, aren't they?
Yeah, very confused, very confused. Are we just going up in reverse championship order, are we?
Yeah, so next is
Oliver
Bearman.
Oliver Bearman. He's Hulkenberg from last year, Jamie, so I expect you to rate him very highly.
Well, he's not been running second in a sprint race for half the race yet. Oh, that was the year before, sorry, 2023, wasn't it?
I say that was 23, yeah.
Bearman started off pretty well. And that's kind of it so far, which is really surprising. And there's been loads of flashes of speed, but not much consistency, which is kind of what we saw in F2 as well from Bearman.
Only because Prema couldn't work out the car last year.
But even when they could, there were races where he just didn't do anything. And he had no reliability problems. So I think, and to be fair, Helmut Marko said exactly the same thing. He's quick but inconsistent. So it is getting done.
Which I think is a really unfair argument when you look at Bearman's results this year.
Well, yeah. But then, yeah, the 4 11th places in a row was quite something. Between Canada to Belgium in such different races. He just finished 11th 4 times. Yeah. I think Bearman's had a good rookie season, but he's certainly not been the best of the rookies, I wouldn't say.
I think the problem is with Bearman, isn't it? He's, like we said, 8th place in Shanghai, was going to be 11th, I believe, obviously having not had those 3 DSQs. Or it might have been 10th, actually, because I think he was still ahead of Gasly.
I think he was ahead of Gasly anyway, yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously 10th in Japan, 10th in Bahrain. Bahrain, a great recovery drive from the rear of the field. You'd think on paper since then he hasn't scored points, which is pretty bad going. Apart from a sprint. But you kind of look at his results and go, 13th in Jeddah, Haas just weren't that great that weekend. I can't remember what happened in Miami, why he retired. I think it might have been mechanical, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a great question.
Yeah, 17th in Imola was a bit of a bad one for him. 12th in Monaco, again, Haas have never historically been very good there, and I believe Ocon came 7th, but of course he's rapid at Monaco.
It was mechanical.
We don't like to admit it with Esteban Ocon, but he is very good at Monaco.
He is.
17th again in Spain, a bit unlucky, and like you said then, those 4 11th places in a row. If he'd done this the year before, he'd probably be, or in 2023 especially, he'd probably be up in 12th in the championship. The fact he's down in 19th is actually a bit unlucky.
It is.
But of course, it does then bring us back to the question, doesn't it, of is Haas a great place for rookies?
Well, it's not a bad place, is it?
Is it though? You look back through their rookie history. You had Gutierrez, never scored a point. Obviously, Schumacher and Mazepin.
He also wasn't a rookie.
Gutierrez, no, but he had a couple of years out.
He did 2 years with Sauber, didn't he? And then
Sauber, yeah.
1 year out, yeah. I don't know. I mean, if you're a rookie, I think Haas have just chosen bad rookies in the past, but Bearman's doing fine, I think.
It's just a really odd one, isn't it, with Ollie Bearman? Because I feel like he doesn't deserve to be down in 19th. Is the thing at the end
he doesn't.
Of the day.
And if you look at Ocon's up in 10th, I wouldn't say Ocon has been 9 positions better than Bearman this year, because their quality head-to-head is 8-6 to Ocon.
Yeah.
So it's pretty close. Bearman's quality pace is definitely better than his race pace, which you kind of see with most of the rookies, to be honest. Yeah, he has been unlucky. He did set a record. Did you hear about Crofty's record that he was harping on the night of Spa?
He equaled a record, didn't he? Yeah, with that 4th, 11th place in a row.
The most consecutive positions finished without it being first. Finished.
Yeah, without it being a win. 4 in a row. Which is a staggering record, isn't it, when you think about it? Like we said, just the fact he keeps rocking up in 11th.
And he was going to finish 11th in Hungary, too, if he didn't have the mechanical.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of those weird ones, isn't it, with Bearman, where I think there was so much hype coming in, and it's kind of one of those ones where you think, well, he hasn't lived up to that hype, but you also can't really say he hasn't, either in a weird way.
He's not been terrible, but he's unlucky the other rookies are good. Imagine if it was just doing Colapinto and Bearman on the grid. People would be like, Bearman's awesome, he's great. And to be fair to him, he's 20 now, isn't he? So he's very inexperienced. Compared to the likes of Colapinto. He did 1 year of F2. Not Colapinto, the other one, Bortoleto.
No, he did 2 years of F2.
Bearman? Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm pretty sure he did 23 and 24, if I remember correctly.
He should be doing much better then.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's been okay, but hasn't pulled up any trees yet. But he's going to be in F1 for a long time.
I think he's one of those ones, isn't it, where he needs to kick on next year with the new regs. If he can kick on next year, you gotta take this first year as you would to learn. And then kind of next year really, start beating Ocon in head-to-heads, outscoring him reliably, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
But I think Ferrari still see him as a future, and he's got another year to prove that, hasn't he?
And if Hamilton quit tomorrow, they'd probably go Sainz or Bearman, to be honest.
Yeah. I think so still. Where are we going to put him in our tier list, Jamie? I think he's been a solid B, hasn't he?
I would go B. B for Bear, exactly.
B for Bearman, exactly. It's just such a weird one to try and describe, isn't it, with Bearman this year?
Yeah.
You always kind of feel like you're either being too harsh or overhyping him still.
He's probably being harsh on himself, I'd imagine.
Probably, yeah. You'd think down in P19... just a couple of those results go a different way. He's immediately up to like P16 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he's not that far behind Ocon as well. There's also been a lot of races where Ocon is just you'd think Shanghai, of course, getting those 3 freebies and that kind of thing.
Yeah, finishing
or 2
fifth
freebies, wasn't it?
How to do that.
Exactly. Gabriel Bortoleto then, Jamie. Of course, Fernando Alonso has recently once again accused the media of being biased against the guy. But we both quite like him, I think.
Has the media been biased against him? I think the media's been absolutely fine with Bortoleto, to be honest.
Well, this is what I don't understand. Fernando Alonso was like, if he was British, that result at Hungary, people would be throwing him a parade. Not like everybody was basically throwing Hulkenberg a parade. Exactly. It's just Alonso with his axe to grind still, isn't it, at this point?
Exactly. I think Bortoleto, he had a slow start, too, but the Sauber was a terrible car up until
Spain. Exactly.
So you can't really blame him for having no points. When the car, because Hulkenberg only scored points once before Spain, and that was experience merchanting in Australia. So, yeah, I think he was doing okay, but under the radar massively because no one could tell how. But
he was also qualifying Hulkenberg quite a lot.
Only more recently.
It was early on in the season as well.
It's been close.
Hulkenberg kind of fought back a bit at the midway point.
I know Bortoleto definitely did it at Australia. That was disappointing. But yes, I think since the Spain upgrade, he's been doing really well. And Sauber on a points run of 7 races now since Spain. How many? 6 races,
did they score? Yeah, I thought they didn't score in one of those.
No, they have. They scored in every race since then.
Did they score in Canada, did they?
Yeah, Hulk got P8.
Oh, got 8, yeah, didn't he? Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So Bortoleto is, spoilers, right now my rookie of the year.
Interesting.
That's not just because I'm glazing Hulkenberg to be better than he is. Bortoleto is doing phenomenally well since that upgrade, and I think, yeah, it's been really nice to see. He's had a couple of, one best of the rest in Hungary. He got very nearly best of the rest in Austria.
Alonso beat him in Hungary.
Oh, true. And Alonso beat him in Austria too. That's annoying. Well, he hasn't had any best of the rest. I changed my whole mind. He's terrible.
There you go. Alonso is rookie of the year, according to Jamie183.
Yeah, but I do think he's doing very well. He's beating Hulkenberg 8-6 in qualifying. Hulkenberg's not lost the quali head-to-head since he was up against Ricciardo in 2019. And Ricciardo was actually good back then.
Yeah, still well rated in 2019. I think the big thing for Bortoleto...
champion. Go on.
Yeah, I think the big thing for Bortoleto as well this year is this season was basically about showcasing to Sauber why Audi should keep him on the books for next year.
Exactly.
And I think he has absolutely done that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the kind of the overarching thing still is Australia and Silverstone, those two DNFs, both of which I believe were his fault, if I remember correctly.
Silverstone definitely was.
Again, Australia, you're kind of like going, yeah, first race, everything like that. Pretty much all the rookies made mistakes. Silverstone was a bit more clumsy, especially when you kind of think what the result could have been there.
And he was on dries on a wet track, but then so
it's
was
a
Russell
rookie
and Leclerc,
mistake.
So.
He's a rookie. He's allowed to make those this
exactly.
year. I think it's kind of still dependent on what Sauber do towards the end of the year, doesn't it? But I think if he can maintain some of that momentum, get a few more points finishes, I can't see him getting dropped for next year. And he's kind of done similarly to what he did in Formula 2 last year, and kind of a bit what we're seeing with Fornaroli this year in Formula 2, of he gets the job done pretty reliably. Because he wasn't like the flashiest F2 champion or anything like that. In fact, I think probably his most memorable result was pretty much down to luck, wasn't it, at Monza last year?
Yeah.
Going last to first. But he's one of those drivers, he's like a proper quintessential Brazilian driver, isn't he? Where you can see the natural talent.
Yeah.
And I quite like that.
Yeah, I do like Bortoleto. And there's no chance of getting dropped for next year, which is mission accomplished, really, because he was brought in as a stopgap to see if Audi would keep him.
Exactly.
And I 100% think they will.
They should. If they don't, then we're gonna throw hands.
Yeah. I'm gonna rock
I
up to Hinville.
Where are you ranking him?
I want to put him in A. I think
you want to put him in A. Okay, I can agree to that at the moment. He has been very, very good. I think as well, especially when it was kind of obviously Antonelli and Bearman was so hyped last year. Obviously, you beat them both in Formula 2. Again, potentially helped a little bit by the fact Prema now aren't a good Formula 2 team anymore for some reason. But has proven once again that he is very, very capable behind the wheel. 17th currently in the standings. Next up then, Jamie, is Liam Lawson. And we've got to be careful that we don't let recency bias get in the way here. But he finally is starting to showcase a bit of what we all thought made Liam Lawson great everywhere else he's been.
Yeah, he's doing very well recently. And we won't let recency bias affect our ranking because those two races at Red Bull were horrendous.
Yep.
And he qualified last twice, or was it 19th and 20th? It was.
He had an average qualifying position, I believe, of 19.66, including the sprint. So I believe it was two last and the 19th.
Yeah, which is the worst Red Bull record ever in 20 years of Red Bull. Even worse than like Robert Dornbos in 2005. So, he obviously had a terrible start. And then when he got dropped in at V-Carb, he also wasn't very good.
We were nervous for quite a while, weren't we?
Yeah.
It was kind of, Hadjar was comfortably getting the better of him, and you think, well, that's probably time up then, buddy. That's a bit of a
exactly.
shame.
Especially with Arvid Lindblad doing quite well in F2. Like, if he was to come into the Red Bull family, you'd think Lawson was the bottom of the pile to get binned.
Yeah.
But to be fair to him, I would say Monaco was a bit of a turning point, where he was at massively able to help
were just very good that weekend, weren't they?
They were. And they nailed the strategy. They were the first to do the stupid two-stop strategy, where you just block everyone. But Lawson played his part in that. And then, since then, like, Austria 6th place was kind of out of nowhere. He was the quickest Red Bull, wasn't he? Because Max was out in lap 1. And then... he
also qualified him, didn't he?
He did,
or was he just behind him in the end? Yeah.
Britain, he was taken out in lap 1. I still don't think it was his fault. He was on the outside of a 3 wide in Vale. In the loop, sorry.
Yeah. It was unlucky there, was it? You could kind of go, well, who else's fault was it? It was a lap one racing incident, wasn't it, really?
Well, whoever sent it down the inside with no consequences.
Well, yeah.
And then 2 8th places in a row at Belgium and Hungary in very different tracks as well. And Hadjar hasn't scored points in a GP since Spain. Since then, Lawson's got effectively all his points. Or in fact, he has got all of his points in that time.
Apart from Monaco.
He's 2 points. Yeah, sorry. He's 2 points behind Hadjar now, who was getting a lot of hype early season. And that's kind of gone off the boil a little bit for Hadjar. But Lawson is hard because it was such a bad start. But he has really turned it around and shown a lot of resilience.
No, exactly. And I think, again, it goes to show just how... because apparently the V-Carb is the easiest car to drive. So I think, of course, especially if you've come out of a rocky situation in that Red Bull, which is not an easy car to drive, it is going to take you a few races to get up to speed to kind of work out how much you can push this car, because there is going to be kind of that natural worry. Because I think had he come back to V-Carb, crash a few more times, it'd be, goodbye, thank you, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll bring Arvid Lindblad in now. But apparently, of course, he's rumoured to be looking at signing another deal ready for next year. I think, again, I know we've said it before, but both V-Carb drivers should be looking elsewhere, because I think they, again, could probably have careers similar to a Pierre Gasly, where they could stick around the sport for quite a while. And again, it's that whole thing with Lawson, where he's won in everything else he's ever been in. I'm not convinced we're going to see that in Formula 1, because, of course, it is very, very different to any other motorsport series, but you're kind of there going... There's clearly something there. It just needs to be extracted still.
Exactly. And I like Lawson. I think he's got a good personality. Doesn't help him go any quicker, but I think he's funny. And I think he'll be on the grid for a while, because he has, especially with his reputation, kind of getting better again now. The thing is with both of the Cup drivers is they're in a bit of a John Ekvern, Daniel Ricciardo situation back in 2012-13. They can see that there's going to be opportunities at Red Bull opening up pretty soon. Because Verstappen will be at 26. I don't think Verstappen will be at 27. So if you want a shot at the Red Bull, which maybe they don't, especially Lawson, maybe doesn't. But if Verstappen leaves, I still think Red Bull would promote from within. And you've got to prove that you're the better of the two options. Because Tsunoda's not going to be there realistically, is he, in 26? I think Hadjar will probably get that gig. But then Lawson can just stick around one more year, hopefully for his sake pocket Arvid Lindblad, and then drive for Red Bull in 27.
Well, I think the other big thing as well, of course, which you're not sure about at the moment, is we're assuming Red Bull is still going to be a front-running team in 26-20. It might well be that finishing 8th place in a race is actually fairly good going for Red Bull.
They'll probably be better than V-Cup still.
You'd hope so.
So it is an upgrade. Whether it's an upgrade from 9th in the championship to 7th in the championship, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, it is a very, very weird one. Again, like we said, I think both of those drivers should be trying to look elsewhere. But again, you're kind of looking elsewhere going, are there that many opportunities at the moment?
Alpine, do you think we'll go there?
I think with Mercedes power next year, it could be
possibly
a pretty decent... Like I said, I think Isack Hadjar there would be quite cool to see.
Would you rather be managed by Helmut Marko or Flavio
Briatore? Yeah, it's a rock and a hard place, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, Lawson, though, again, like we said, he's we don't want to get too caught up in recency bias, but he is starting to show some of kind of what we expected him to be.
Yeah. He's been better than the Alpine ones
this year. Up against Hadjar's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points finishes this year. 2 points behind him. Again, I feel like Hadjar has been more consistent. And obviously we'll talk about him a lot more.
Much better in qualifying as well.
Hadjar, is rapid in qualifying. Where are we going to rank Lawson then, Jamie? I feel like he belongs ahead of the Alpines, but lower than Bearman? Or is that too harsh?
No, I agree with you.
That's always reassuring.
Yeah.
Always reassuring.
But it's close. I think Bearman and Lawson, there's not much to choose between them.
No,
Hadjar,
exactly.
we could probably spoke about him quite a lot already. He's yet to be eliminated in Q1, which is mental. He's the only driver, I think it's Leclerc and the McLarens, isn't it? And Verstappen and Hadjar.
Yeah, that haven't gone out in Q1.
Yeah.
At any point. Yeah, no, it is staggering, isn't it? And I think, the big thing as well with Hadjar, of course, is, we will happily admit as well, I think like basically everybody else, we didn't have much hype or expectation for him coming into this season. He wasn't announced to be a Red Bull in Toro or V car, whatever it's called nowadays, Minardi. He wasn't announced, towards the end of last season F2. It was after last F2 last year. It wasn't kind of a big Red Bull desperately want to get him in, get him ready for this year. It was kind of I guess we'll put him in.
Yeah, he's
kind of our best looking rookie.
He was a consequence of Perez getting sacked, wasn't he?
Yeah,
basically.
But he's done. I really like the guy as well this year. He's done fantastically. I really think he's a great personality to have around the grid as well. Which, of course, doesn't matter too much. Look at Daniel Ricciardo, but he's also delivering, which Daniel Ricciardo wasn't doing down at V-Carb that much. He's been, I think, easily been the surprise of the year so far, hasn't he?
Yeah, and going into the year, I think we both said that we didn't particularly like him very much. He seemed a bit arrogant in F2, but I guess you only hear what he says on the radio, which does come across arrogant sometimes. But when you actually, see the human side of him,
he's a very nice guy.
He's a very lovely lad, yeah. And
very lovely lad, said by Isack Hadjar's grandmother.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's 19? How old is he? 23? 20?
No, he's a bit young, man, isn't he? Yeah, 20.
He's 20, so 5 years older. That's crazy. But he has got a little bit off the boil. Up until Spain, absolutely was Rookie of the Year. But for me, I think Bortoleto has spun the stock quite a lot.
Bortoleto or Lawson?
Well, for me, Bortoleto is now my Rookie of the Year, as I said. But Rookie of the first half. But yeah, he does need to get back on it. But I do think probably an A is fair enough because he has been pocketing Lawson. He's the only rookie to be beating his teammate, which I know is a caveat because his teammate is also a rookie.
Yeah. It makes that one a little bit awkward. So you're saying he's just below Bortoleto, are you?
I think that. I don't know what you think.
Okay. Fair. Yeah, no, I think that's fair enough. Again, it's kind of Bortoleto probably came in and arguably an even tougher scenario. I think you kind of look at his recent results. I think Belgium was a bit unlucky because, of course, after he got a bit shafted on strategy because the team, I believe, called him in as he went past the pit lane. That put him at the back, and then no one could do anything for the rest of the race. P11 at Hungary as well. Yeah. So you kind of think, obviously, Silverstone again, bit of an error. But again, we've seen basically all the rookies bid it in the wet races so far, haven't we?
A wet race, you can guarantee there's 14 finishes, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that does lead us on to our last rookie, Jamie, who, admittedly, unlike all the others, shouldn't have binned it in either wet race. Or one wet race he didn't bin it, and the other one he got taken out.
Yeah, by Hadjar. So Antonelli, he's been very good in flashes, hasn't he? He's a quintessential rookie season for Antonelli, I think.
He's been unlucky as well.
He has been. But there's been moments.
I really like him.
I do. I like Antonelli a lot. He's obviously... Is he 19 yet, or is he still 18?
He's 18. I believe
he's 19 before
he might
the
be
next
19.
Race.
Yeah, he's 19 like in 2 weeks or something.
But he's been started the season incredibly well. But then went on a run of 1 points finish in 7, which wasn't too clever. That was a podium finish.
I was going to say, it was a podium finish, and when you look through those results, was Imola car failure, Monaco.
No, he crashed. Well, he had a terrible race in Imola.
But he still had a car failure. He was going to come like 10th.
He was going to come out the points,
which is not great. I think he was closing in on points, if I remember correctly.
But he basically got all his schoolmates along and then got distracted, and that didn't go down too well with Mercedes.
Imola car failure. Monaco, they were pretty terrible as a team, but he got a bit screwed over as well.
And he was very slow in quality. Yeah,
we binned it in qualifying, which cost him. Spain, car failure. Canada, podium. 8th, Austria, rookie error, like we said at the time, took out Verstappen. Silverstone got wiped out. Belgium, again, got completely screwed over on strategy after a bad qualifying.
But again, some of that just qualify better, and then you not be in those situations. But I'm being harsh because he's got very high standards.
Because I like him.
But he has been good. I'm not saying he's been bad, but he has not quite lived up to the hype. It's not been a Lewis Hamilton rookie season, has it?
No, but I also, again, I think when you see these rookies come in, I think it gives everybody another kind of appreciation for just how ridiculous Lewis was in his rookie year.
And how overly prepared he was.
I can also hear the Fernando Alonso fans going, when he did all this testing and this, that and the other. Testing doesn't prepare you for the emotion and the adrenaline still. He's going up against a George Russell that's very well embedded in that team. Yeah. And you look through, Bahrain, he got absolutely shafted on strategy as well. And we spoke about all the other times he hasn't scored points. I mean, 4 6 places in a row in 5 races early on after that 4th place brilliant result in Australia. Again, yeah, it's very, very easy to look at kind of how bad it's gone recently. I mean, he scored 8 points in Hungary, but
his confidence
Mercedes
in Belgium was in the floor. It was very, very low. I think Antonelli's been good. I think he's probably got the highest ceiling out of any of the rookies still.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Just because he's the youngest and already in a Mercedes, already a podium finisher.
And the thing is, I would have thought as well, coming into this season, Mercedes would have said to him, look, apart from if we get any surprises further down the order, as long as you finish ahead of the midfield runners, that's good enough. Exactly. Like, Mercedes probably should be a comfortable second in the Constructors. But let's be fair, they don't care if they finish second or third in the Constructors. Unless they're winning it, it doesn't matter. He's still 10 points ahead of Albon. Yeah, but I would have thought that gap will probably go up because Albon, to be fair to him, he scored points in Silverstone and Belgium. But recently, aside from that, 3 DNFs in a row and a 15th at the Hungaroring. Williams have obviously gone to a lot more circuits where they've struggled.
And are focused on next year already, so we'll see.
Exactly. Antonelli is one of those weird ones, isn't it, where out of the rookies, he's definitely still had the highest highs. Obviously, that pole in Miami, that podium at Canada as well. He's also had, obviously, apart from Lawson in those couple of races going up against Max, had the toughest teammate to go up against as well. I still really, really rate him. I know you don't as much.
Well, I do rate him, but I think judging the first half of the season, he's not been better than Bortoleto or Hadjar. I don't think.
I still struggle to agree.
But
I think he's had, like I said, he's had worse lows. But of course, then you look at Bortoleto, he binned it at turn 1 in Shanghai, but he was okay because the car was bad.
Did he? I don't remember that.
Remember, both Saubers binned it lap 1 in Shanghai.
Oh, yes. Yeah, true. I don't know. I feel like,
I think Bortoleto and Hadjar have been bigger surprises, but that's different in my mind.
I just don't think Antonelli's been better than either of them.
Purely, but again, my point again is you look at things like, obviously, Australia finished well, P4, first ever race, showed great instinct, and those battles late on, some of those overtakes were fantastic. Would have finished Silverstone as well had not Hadjar not wiped him out. It would have been the only rookie to finish either of those races, and he would have finished both of them. I think there's still an element of, considering he's the youngest one coming in with the least car racing experience, I still think he's done the best of the bunch. I want to say.
Okay. Well, we'll agree to disagree.
Where are we putting him then?
It's up to you. I would put him third, personally. I'd put him A, but I'd put him behind the two. You'd
still put him behind Hadjar and Bortoleto?
I would, yeah. I think those two have had a better first half of the season.
I will agree to put him behind Bortoleto, but we're saying similar to Colapinto and Doohan, they're basically identical.
Okay, fair enough.
Is that
and
fair?
That does lead us onto a quiz very quickly, because we've not got long. But he is obviously an Italian podium finisher.
Yep.
Do you know who the last two were?
Fisichella?
Yes.
I'm pretty certain.
And the other one, similar era to Fisichella.
Jarno Trulli, I would assume.
There you go. They are the two drivers who this quiz is about, because between them, they raced a lot of races, and they raced for 10 Formula 1 teams. Some of them are the same team rebadged.
Okay.
But you've got a minute to name the 10 teams raced.
So have I got to name the rebadging, or?
Yes.
Oh,
and your time starts now.
Ferrari, Toyota, Renault, Benetton, Jordan.
Well, you got 5 already. That's a good start.
Good heavens! Yeah, I smashed 5 out far too early. Where else? You got BMW? No, I don't think so.
No.
Did they? Don't think either of them raced for Jaguar or anything like that, nor like Red Bull or anything like that. Jordan. Fizzy didn't race after 09. I don't think Trulli... Oh, no, Trulli did race after 09. Like Caterham or Virgin or HRT, I'm going to say.
Close. Not quite there.
Marussia?
No.
Manor?
No.
Lotus Caterham?
Yeah, you got Lotus. There you go.
Yeah.
10 seconds. You've absolutely flopped this in the second half.
I
bit
got
like
the
Antonelli,
5
really.
I knew. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No idea.
Right, your time's
I'd
up.
probably like if I wasn't under time constraint, I would be able to get them.
I mean, there's one you should absolutely have got, because Fizzy raced the majority of his season in 09 for Force India.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention them.
Then the others, Sauber. I think both of them raced for Sauber at some point.
Yeah, that
Fizzy
was again
certainly
another
did.
one in the early 2000s. Right,
Trulli raced for Prost, which was quite difficult.
Yes, should have known that.
And then I think Fizzy at the start of his career with Minardi. So
I was going to say Minardi, but I just backed out of it for some reason because I'm an idiot. Fair enough. I'll take that. 6 out of 10 is not bad.
6 out of 10, 60%.
Exactly.
Do you run through the tier list for our Spotify listeners?
Yes. Yeah. So Gabriel Bortoleto, we are controversially saying is our rookie of the season so far. Although we're gonna call that a tie between him and Andrea, Kimi, Antonelli.
Yeah, we disagree. I think Bortoleto, Matt thinks Antonelli. There you go.
Exactly. Isack Hadjar comes a close 3rd place. Ollie Bearman in 4th. Again, flashes of brilliance, but still needs a little bit more. That Haas probably has arguably now been the worst car on average over the course of the season, apart from the Alpine.
Yeah.
Liam Lawson, potential to move up our rankings, but of course I think probably came in with arguably the most expectation behind him. And then down at the bottom in the doldrums, Franco Colapinto and Jack Doohan, both pretty terrible. Neither of them I think we'll probably see on the grid after this year. Unless something wild happens.
Exactly.
Leave us questions for our Q&A as well, because hopefully we won't get like 3 questions in an 8-minute podcast or something.
Yeah, that'd be
like
a shame.
That we've got to waffle on about. Jamie, have we got anything else to add?
No, I don't think so.
No?
Actually, I ordered some artwork this week that I've got.
Okay.
I'm going to show the viewers at home. You'll have to watch it in the edit.
I'll have to watch it back.
There's a
wonderful.
nice
It looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I won't even tell
I
you
can't
what it
see
is.
it. I got no
You've
idea.
already guessed,
It's going to be Hulkenberg. Jamie's got Hulkenberg tattoo on his stomach.
Yeah, I just pulled up my shirt on the camera. Thankfully, that did not happen. It is a Hulkenberg-related piece of art, though, so there you go.
Of course it is.
Etsy sorted me out.
Nice. Love
probably,
that. Love that.
Yeah, probably fake and stolen, but we move.
Exactly. Yeah, and produced in a Chinese warehouse by a 6-year-old child. But there we are. That's as long as Jamie's studio looks good. That's all that matters. Thank you all, as always, so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like. Get yourself subscribed. And yeah, Jamie and I guess will be back at some point, maybe this week, probably next week, with another podcast.